like we managed to like be next to each other without him. And
is that the puppy?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he would still like wag his tail and stuff. Like he wasn't like in here, you know how he just like stood
Sure.
still.
Yeah. He kind of shut down.
He like let her smell him. No growling. And then at the end of the walk, we went inside my apartment just so that I could drop off Pip, and then I was going off to get some food with them. And he did nip at her then, like after the collar was off and he was off leash and he had a treat. I was giving him a treat and then she wanted one, so she came running over. So, I mean, I was like, okay, well, I would do the same thing. Like if I just had to like spend 2 hours with this dog and hike, and then I was hungry and this dog comes charging at my treat, like, yeah, I'm gonna.
Sure, which that's a different issue here.
That's,
let's just do a quick recap. So met up with Ivy. Ivy's the young 3-month-old puppy.
Yeah, she's like, I'm gonna say she's about 3 months.
Okay.
I think so.
3-month-old lab puppy, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
English lab.
And you're doing essentially the exercise, right, of the walking together and everything?
Yeah.
So you do the walk, and then there is an incident, but there's food involved.
Yeah, at the end.
Okay. And then what was the whole, real quick, the walk, and then there was a picture, or?
So then we did like the whole, when we got back to my house, we did the whole like, let her circle and we circled, and then smell each other, and then Ivy just laid down because she was tired, and so we just sat there and we were talking because we were in the sun, and he like got close to her, like went and smelled her when she was laying down, and then sat there right next to her.
Nice.
And then we snagged a photo because we were like, how do you not? When like and his tail was wagging, and I was so happy. So got a cute photo, and Ivy looks very proud of herself. Like, this dog didn't bite me this time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I mean, at first he was like hesitant. Like when we first walked out, he was like, I don't want to do this, and resisted. Like did the whole like pulling resistance thing. And I just kept doing it, and then we would walk, and because she's the puppy, she would just like stop and lay down, and then we would have to like stand there and wait. And I think when we were doing that, she wasn't like, she not once was like lunging at him. She was like playing with other puppies around her and him, and he just was like focused in on me. So I think it's honestly this collar.
Partially, yep.
And then the fact that like he, I think, realized that she's not gonna like get him. Like she's not gonna eat him. He's gonna be fine. If he's around this dog, like he can tolerate it.
What was the resistance that you were seeing?
Well, at first, like he was doing like the whole where like he put both hands on the leash. He was like trying to go back inside. Essentially, he like did not want to go.
On the walk with Ivy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But outside of that, and then I have my parents' dog right now, so we've been trying to do it with him. But Guinness isn't. He just like does whatever he wants. He's like a 13-year-old. He'll lift his leg on every tree, and that drives Pippen nuts. Like Pippen has to go make sure that like he covers it up, kind of thing. So I had to like get him into like sit and stay, and then I like released him. Like was like, okay, I'm just like torturing you at this point. So like you can be released, but made him go into like stay first before we did anything. So.
From hearing that, do you know why he was able to be social?
In the previous session?
Because we did the circling around thing, right? And then from what you just said right now, do you know why?
Was it because of the previous session and like the energy of the puppy? Like was it okay?
Yeah, right. So the energy of the puppy toned down a lot during that walk. And so what I try to teach everybody is how to read things according to your dog. Because we perceive things very differently.
Yeah.
You see a puppy and you just go, it's a puppy, right?
Yeah.
They're no threat.
Yeah.
But in their world, they're like, we correct our puppies.
Yeah.
You know, so like if you're at the store and you see a kid acting up, you don't just spank the kid. That's not your kid. That's the owner. That's the parent's responsibility, right?
Yeah.
But in their world, they absolutely will correct other puppies. They don't care who it belongs to.
Yeah.
You know, so he has no problem setting boundaries. But then it can be misperceived, or it could be a legitimate behavior problem. You know, it can be a couple of things. So that's why whenever I hear about when a dog's done something, I always want to hear the context.
Yeah.
Because then I was like, if it makes sense, then it's not, for me, a behavior problem. It's really just either controlling the environment so the dog feels comfortable enough.
Yeah.
You know, so when you went on that walk, a few things that I pulled out is he came out and you said, oh, baby, right?
Yeah.
And then he became resistant.
Yeah.
So it's actually a big part of it.
Okay.
So this allowed you to pull him out of resistance.
Yeah.
So if someone were to just take you, like let's say you don't want to, like, I've experienced this myself where my friends want to go out to a party and they kind of drag me along and I'm just like not having it.
Yeah.
Like I'm not having any fun because I don't want to be there.
Yeah.
Right? But it could be another day and they're like, hey, you want to go party? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And I'm having fun because I wanted to go.
Yeah.
So for Pippen, if he's already giving you then that's going to kind of, I would say, be the first, the first step. And then it's just, everything after that's going to be a downward spiral.
I mean, right before they came over, because we were going to go out to like the birds on a trail, and then we ended up just going up to the lakefront. I took him on a walk, and you could tell he like wanted to be outside because he wanted to roll in the mud. And so he's like a huge mud roller. It is so disgusting. But he like really wanted to like roll in the mud. So when we went on the walk with Ivy, at one point I like let him like be a dog and I let him like roll in the mud. And then Ivy started doing it and he like noticed that she was doing it. And I felt like right after that moment he was like, all right, whatever, you're like cool. You're following me. Like he's like, all right, fine, I'll tolerate you. And she started like mimicking him, and it was really cute. But
yeah, so working through resistance is a big part of it. The continuous walking and then just burning off the puppy energy.
Yeah.
So at the end, when you finally stopped, you know, like she was calm.
Yeah.
There's no confrontation or no like forced meeting, right? Where he's like, every time I see Ivy, I have to meet her, and she's just this over the top puppy energy, right? So those are all the things that lead to like a more successful interaction. And I don't care about playing off the bat.
Yeah.
Okay, just keep that in mind.
He's not like, he plays with 2 dogs and he plays for about 4 seconds. Not 4 seconds, probably like 5 minutes, and then he'll go lay down or like go under the bed. When he like is done, he like goes and hides. And so I don't like super care about him like playing because he's never been like, he wants to play with me, like he wants to bring me a toy and toss it, but he doesn't want other people involved normally. So I'm like, I just want him not to like, I want to sit in a room or like go get coffee with them and him not to like lunge at her.
Yeah.
Or like lunge at other dogs when they smell, like, I just want people to like sit like this and like not be a nuisance when we're like out in public.
So let's take those situations because those are very important. So the playing for 5 minutes and hiding under the bed, right? Because he's got like a best friend, right? There's a dog that he absolutely
Oscar.
And he can do whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever, right? So like, let's say he's playing with Oscar. He does the 5 minutes. He hides underneath the bed, and like Oscar can go and like sniff down there and like walk away. He like doesn't care, right?
Yeah.
May not be the same with the puppy.
No, and I have a feeling the puppy would like continue to go after him and like wanting, like thinking that like he wanted to continue to play. Oscar knows Pippen, I think, well enough at this point. Like Pippen's done this since he was a puppy, and Oscar knew him when he was a puppy. So I think Oscar like knows like, oh, this is what Pippen does.
That's a sign of like
they like read each other really well. I know that like Ivy doesn't do that.
So how do you think you would handle that situation if Pippen played with Ivy, the 5 minutes was up, he goes under the bed?
So that's what I like didn't, like we were fine outside, but I wanted to ask you today, like how do we like bring it inside? I don't want him to feel like he's being punished when he's like done playing. But I also like, I don't know if it's beneficial for me to like move her out of the room or like leave him alone. Like I don't know what to do.
What do you mean punished?
I like don't want to like, well I don't want to like lock him in there by himself. because then I feel like he thinks, well, I did something bad, so now I'm like stuck in the bedroom.
He doesn't think that
Okay.
complexly.
Okay.
He's just, if you close the door, he's like, if anything, it's, if he's in avoidance, probably not going to care.
Yeah, okay.
Because he's wanting quiet,
Yeah.
right? Now, it's possible that if you close the door and he's in avoidance and he comes and scratches at the door, it's not because he's like, oh, don't punish me, it's because he's
He
attached
wants
to you.
me. Yeah. Okay.
And then you're preventing that, right?
Yeah.
So, if he's hiding underneath the bed, and like, I assume things, but then you don't know until like the interaction actually
Yeah.
happens. So then, like, let's say he's under the bed, they're done playing. Ivy goes to like say like, hey, what's going on, right? And maybe he growls or something, right?
Yeah.
So we know, okay, yeah, he's accepting with Oscar, he's not accepting with Ivy.
Yeah.
At least not yet, right? So technically in his world, what he's doing isn't incorrect. Okay, because remember, like, they correct puppies, they ask for space, like, so like as I was a kid growing up, my younger brother, when my younger brother or sister came into the room, like, get out of my room.
Yeah.
It's the same behavior,
Yeah.
except I didn't bite my brothers and my
You
sister.
didn't go at them, yeah.
But that's not because, dogs are being bad, that's just how dogs resolve
Yeah.
things, right? So, if I see that happen, technically it falls on you and Ivy's
Okay.
owner to correct Ivy.
Ivy. Okay.
Okay, because he's going, I'm done, I'm gonna mind my own
Yeah.
business. And she's going, I still wanna play.
What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly, right? So then
Oh.
it would be unfair, technically. And it's not to say you can't correct them. So like, I would still correct the growling, but then
Yeah.
I would absolutely make sure that I correct Ivy.
Yeah.
So then he goes, oh. So if I do, like, this isn't my place,
Yeah.
right? But you will handle the situation.
Yeah.
That's the main thing, is that people will correct the dog and let this continue to happen.
Yeah.
And we can, like, the only time I really care about forcing something like that is if I have a dog that's highly aggressive.
Yeah.
Like, I push for, like, the extreme when it
Yeah.
comes to highly aggressive dogs. Everything that I've heard from Pip that you've told me about,
It's not,
It's
yeah,
normal.
highly aggressive.
it's just like, it's the standard dog behavior, he's setting boundaries, and in my opinion, he goes to a healthy degree.
Yeah.
Okay? So, I go, okay, I'm gonna correct you, and I'm gonna make sure I correct the puppy to teach the puppy when Pip goes underneath there, like, just leave him alone, right?
Yeah.
And then the puppy goes and does something else. So then for that interaction, Pip goes, oh, cool. If I handle this, I get a correction. However, I don't need to handle it because Mom or Ivy's owner will.
Yeah.
Okay? And, this is all observation. So then, in terms of, like, bringing them in the home, I would do the same process.
Okay.
Where you go for the walk, you should see less resistance ideally.
Yeah.
Coming from Pip. Do your walk, you can even like imitate what you did previously.
Yeah.
And then if you see like that you come to a stop and that it's kind of the same ending, then you'd go back home. You'd enter with Ivy first, and then Pip would follow.
Okay.
Okay. What can happen sometimes is even if you've had a really good interaction,
Yeah.
if you bring in the dog that lives there first, they'll flip around and become territorial.
Yeah.
Or since they go in first, they'll end up claiming a spot, and then the other
Yeah.
dog's coming in, and then
Okay.
it becomes something can happen. So to kind of work around that, I always bring in the visiting dog and then the residing dog in
Yeah.
after,
Okay.
and let the leashes drag. Same
Yeah.
kind of concept. When it comes to the food or the treat thing, that could be possible resource guarding.
Okay.
Okay.
And he does get, even with Oscar, he will get growly with Oscar if there's food around. And I've always just been like, well, he's a dog, so he doesn't like attack Oscar,
Yeah.
but like he growls, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like,
Yeah, we're setting a boundary.
yeah.
Right? Because it's like, imagine for the consultation that we had, I just like walk in your home and open the fridge.
Yeah. I'd be like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Right? So, because Oscar isn't a consistent,
Yeah.
or a constant in the home.
Yeah.
You and Pip are. You're the
Yeah.
constants, right? So, like, let's say you adopted another dog.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning, I would anticipate to see resource guarding.
Okay.
And it may happen over the course of time where Pip goes, you're a constant.
Yeah.
You're here 24/7. It's been a year. and then he develops the trust, like, okay, sure, like, I'll share things with you.
Yeah.
Or he may not, right? It's like my dogs. I absolutely know for sure if I bring in another dog, they'll resource guard,
Yeah.
but I don't care.
I definitely, like, I know eventually I want to get another dog, and I've always been, like, hesitant because he's so weird with puppies.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it was, like, his breed,
Mm-hmm.
I, like, don't know how he would act because he's just unpredictable with puppies.
Right, so, and, like, when it comes to, like, Pip, it really comes down to the owner,
Yeah.
right? So, like, right now, like, he's unpredictable with puppies. And, like, then I go, make him predictable.
Yeah.
Correct him.
I'm like, I think I'm not ready to be like, all right, let me
Yeah, no,
manage
for
all
sure.
of this. Yeah.
You know, because this is a learning process, but I've had absolutely, like, plenty of clients who went from I would never have another dog to having another dog.
Yeah.
Because if you come home with the approach of mi casa, su casa, and let the puppy in, like, you're going to have a problem.
Yeah.
If I were to integrate another dog into my dogs, that dog would be created when I'm gone. It would be created overnight. It would get a lot of structure and discipline. It would not get the privilege. It would not be allowed on the bed, not be allowed on the couch, would not be allowed on any furniture. You know, they're bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
Until finally, like, my dogs to kind of accept them.
Yeah.
And then I feel that their behavior has warranted them certain privileges.
Yeah.
But we're talking like a year plus.
Yeah.
You know, like at minimum, I was going to give your dog a year or your puppy a year to acclimate,
Yeah.
learn the rules, learn the structure, learn the routine, before you start to integrate into what, like, the normal life is for the current dog.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, and it's the same process. You know, that you're doing here with Pip and Ivy. It's the same process. Walking builds relationships. So that's why I see some Milan walks dogs together all the time. Especially like day one, you'll come in, oh, your dog's reactive? Sure, let me get them under control. And then we walk with a bunch of other dogs, right? So it's the same process. And then in the home, it just means that your job is going to be a bit more in depth because now that puppy is going to be around 24/7, that you have to be more on top of correcting the puppy.
Yeah.
Creating separation so that he doesn't always feel like in the beginning like crap, like this puppy's like
This
always
is
around.
so annoying. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't crate trade him, but that's because I'm weak. Like, just I'm weak. Like, I know that. I'm so weak. He cried the first night and I slept on the floor with my hand in the crate and like with a huge kink waking up and I was like, I'm not doing this again.
Wow.
Let him sleep in my bed.
Sure.
I'm weak.
Yeah.
So I would
Well,
just
definitely if you get a second dog.
need to crate train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it helps just keep the separation, helps him have his own time while he's still acclimating. So
And he is territorial with that for sure.
yeah.
So
And you said Oscar, he's fine with in the bed?
Oscar can come in the bed after Oscar has to wait like a half an hour. It's ridiculous. So Oscar will lay, I have an ottoman at the end of my bed, and Oscar will lay there until Pippin's sleeping, and then he'll like crawl up. But he'll crawl up on the other side, like Pippin sleeps on this side.
Sure.
He'll crawl up on this side.
Gotcha.
But he doesn't come up right away. Guinness, my parents' dog, can be on the bed and he will not react at all.
Okay.
Guinness, Zoe used to be like the pack leader and she died last year, but one time he reacted to Zoe and Guinness and Zoe was like, hell no, like bit him and then just sat there and stared at him, like totally was like claiming her territory, and he has never since been like, even with bones. Guinness can come sit next to him while he's chewing on a bone and he'll just,
Nothing.
no.
That's rules and structure.
Zoe used to be like the ringleader of them all. She would bully them all, like bite them and stuff.
And in their world, it's healthy.
Yeah, and they like really care. They're like, all right, you can have this meal.
They want that.
Yeah.
You know, because then it's just like once it's very defined, there is no like what would happen.
Yeah.
This is what happens, right? So the next step for Ivy would be simply that: repeat the walk.
Okay.
Her first, then Pip. Watch for any of his avoidance behaviors. Now, ideally, if you know Pip better than I do, if you start to see something and you go, "Yep, that's Pip's capping point," you start addressing Ivy.
Okay.
Now, you can do a couple of things. One would be you could allow Ivy to push things a little bit
Yeah.
to see where his comfort lies,
Yeah.
right?
Like his tolerances.
And it could be like, oh wow, like Pip let Ivy crawl underneath the bed and like nap with him.
Yeah.
It could be that, right? or it could be Pip growls, right?
Yeah.
So then we correct Pip, then we address Ivy. Okay. Now, over the course of time, as you repeat this, and it won't always have to be a long walk.
Okay.
Long walks are ideal just because they help burn off more energy.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always have to be that way once you kind of cross a certain hump, right? So then, over time, he may accept IV like he does Guinness and Oscar,
Yeah.
you know, especially as she matures.
Yeah.
So it's usually 6 months in a year. Puppies go through very pivotal personality shifts. So then I just keep an eye on those points. But otherwise, once you keep doing things like that, there shouldn't be any issues. The other thing, what was I going to mention? The walking. So like, you know, when he saw Ivy this past time, it was like, oh, right. When you start to see, when he sees Ivy and he's shaking and he's happy, then you start thinking, okay, cool. Like now you're starting to like accept it, right? Now just because he accepts her doesn't mean he won't put rules on her.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and you always want to look at things, right? And because I think this is number 5 or 6, right?
Yes.
So like, let's say after training, fast forward a few months, he's doing great. Yep. He's doing great, and something happens, right? You have a negative experience.
Yeah.
It's okay, right? You're always more than welcome to email me.
Okay.
You can give me the context,
Yeah.
and I can tell you like, don't worry about it, or do this, or this sounds concerning,
Yeah.
right? Most of the time, whenever anybody's ever emailed me, it's always made complete sense.
Yeah.
And it's either a fluke moment, or it's just like the dog, in my opinion, is like if you told me something happened with Ivy and you told me like, oh yeah, she jumped on him,
Yeah.
even though they've been playing for each other for like 8 months, I'm like, yeah, but now she's like a big, full-grown
dog,
lab,
yeah.
you know, like then it makes sense in that moment
Yeah.
that he would correct her. So, okay.
Great.
Anything in particular you'd like to cover?
So I would like him to like, he's walking so nicely with me, but I know that you mentioned like we might be able to get him off leash.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if like we'll utilize it a ton, but it would be nice if like we go have picnics at the park where I don't have to have him like on a leash wrapped around my legs 6 times. Like we can just like all sit there.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll like come back. So
Okay. So you want recall?
yeah.
Okay, cool. Then we cover that. We have long leash on that, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we go to recall.
Cool.
That's easy. For your next class, so we call the recall today. Now, recall is technically or typically 2 classes.
Okay.
My idea of the last class was probably going to be, actually you're already ahead though, because it was all depending on like how the interaction stuff went. If you feel like you have a good handle on that, because that's essentially it. It's
Yeah.
super simple, right?
Yeah.
Is you keep repeating that, is that we can make the 6th class just the second half of recall.
Okay.
Otherwise, if you wanted help integrating into the home,
Yeah.
then we can do that as well. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you just let Maria know, and then she'll adjust where I meet you or whatever.
Great.
Okay?
Sounds good.
Yeah, so we'll get the leash ready,
Okay.
and then I'll come get you, okay?
Okay.
Ready, let's go get the back set up.